Hello, Guild Wars 2 fans, and welcome to episode 65 of GuildGab. This is a show where we talk about anything and everything Guild Wars 2. On today's show, we've got a lot of little bullet points to talk about. The 2016 winter update has been announced, as well as a roadmap for the rest of 2016 when it comes to the game. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff and more. But first, let me introduce my wonderful co-hosts, MMOINKS, Corvus Plays, and Alex of the RPG Shack. How's it going, guys?
Woo! Good to be here.
Yeah.
Always good to be here.
Oh my gosh, so much news.
So much. Like, literally just this blog post just went on forever. And I think we're going to get to that in just a minute. But I think first, something that's in the game right now that I think we need to address is the newest item in the Black Lion store in the Gems shop is a shared inventory slot. I didn't see this coming at all.
No, it's one thing that I thought would eventually come to at least the inventory was that whenever you bought a gem expansion to a character's inventory, it would become account-wide. I thought that would eventually make its way into the gem store. But yeah, I didn't see this coming. Mainly because if you have to me, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but to me, if you have a slot where you can just pop in your captain's airship pass or your copper salvage-o-matic across all of your other characters, why do you need to buy another one? Why do you not need a little collection of copper salvagey things for your 22, I believe it is now, characters?
You don't, and that's why I think that's why the price is, like it or not, I think that's why the price is what it is.
Yeah.
Because this means loss on, and I know, for example, Nike, for example, has, and I said it, for example, too many times, but he has like a copper fed salvage-o-matic for every one of his characters.
Wow.
Now, I don't know how many characters he has, but I know he's got quite a few, at least probably one of every class. So that's quite a bit of gems. Now, he's got other things that he's filled those slots with, obviously, because they're rather useful for a number of items. But I think you're right, Alex, that, this kind of takes away from that drive, that need, or that want to buy more than one of something like a salvage-o-matic.
That's a really good point. I, to be honest, had sticker shock at first. I couldn't believe that it was 700 gems. Now, if you buy all 5 at once, which 5 is the max, correct?
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Currently.
Currently. And if you buy all 5, you do get a discount. But just 700 for one, I was like, whoa, that seems like a lot for. But really, what this item is, it is really the ultimate convenience item. It's basically it's an item. It's a convenience item to make your convenience items more convenient. That's exactly what it is.
Convenience for convenience.
It's a convenience for your convenience, because you don't have to swap those your endless harvesting tools. You don't have to swap the salvage-o-matic. And I haven't bought one yet because of that sticker shock. I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do, but I think because I don't have a salvage-o-matic. The only endless mining tool I have is the pick, the Watchwork mining pick, which I got on sale. So I'm not even though I have all these alts, I'm not a player that constantly swaps items between them. So to me, I have to think about it. But hearing everyone say how nice it is to have that one salvage-o-matic and be able to just use it on all your characters is really, really tempting me.
Yeah. Just for clarification, we are talking about one slot in your inventory, not an entire bag. So if you get one slot and you can put one item into that, and that one item appears across all your characters, and you can currently buy 5 of those slots, so you can have a maximum of
5 items.
Yeah. So you could have your copper salvage-o-matic, your silver salvage-o-matic, teleport to a portal to your home, teleport to friend, and another item in there, like a permanent hairstyle kit or something across your characters to kind of mess around with. It's,
permanent banker. Trading post, or any of the permanent things that if you're lucky, you might own them. Some of them are rather expensive, even more so now that this is available. But the other thing you could do, and this is pretty interesting, if you had a full set of tools, now this would take up 3 slots. It's a lot of real estate when you only have 5, but you could put your unlimited tools, or at least one set of unlimited tools, in these slots. So the trick actually is to equip every one of your characters with a normal tool. So this way you can just double click on the slot. This puts the permanent tool on that character to use it. And when you want to then, because then you need to put the permanent tool back so you can use it on somebody else, just double click on the slot again instead of like dragging and dropping.
Clicking and dragging, Hey, that's a pretty cool idea. I think it's nice that it's just a nice kind of convenience thing, which is, it's something that I think, especially after kind of what's been going on with Winter's Day. I mean, like with the 10,000 drinks thing, it seemed a little bit hardcore, that kind of number. It's nice to see that they're kind of starting to swing back towards that kind of more consumer focused aspect of kind of decking out characters and that kind of thing. Even though I probably won't buy them myself. I tend not to character hop that too much, but it's I think it's a really good idea. It's a really nice little kind of bonus thing to have, and thankfully nobody gets them for free, because I can imagine. Can you imagine that if the I mean, I'm just thinking, can you imagine if each account would have got one of them at launch, and then when the free-to-play accounts came in, that would be another thing that they didn't have, which I think might have been a little bit kind of disenfranchising to people as well.
Now, there is something you need to be careful with. You can only use 5 of these. It's actually an item that you get, and you consume the item, and it adds an actual slot. The problem becomes, and if you've done this, you need to contact customer service. They'll help you with this, but you could buy the 3-pack, and it will still let you buy the 5-pack, even though you can't use all 5.
Oh, wow.
Or you could buy the 5-pack, and you could still buy a singular one, and it would let you buy basically more than you can actually use, unfortunately. So if you're going to do that, just be careful. 5 is the most. For me, I probably will pick them up, I think, just because I do have a salvage-o-matic, which would be nice to use across all my characters. I don't have like a permanent bank access or anything like that, but if I got one, that would be pretty huge. And the other thing is my tools. So I farm flax on every character at least once per day. And this way, like constantly, eventually I run out. I'll buy X number of tools, and when that runs out, I need to travel back to town. And then I need to go, and not that that's a big hassle, but this is it's a convenience thing, right? It just means that I don't actually have to ever move those characters if I don't want to, and they can stay there for as long as I want them to farm flax or whatever it is that you're actually farming. So for me, it is a big convenience thing, and I just can't see myself buying less than 5, because if you buy 5, they're 560 gems each.
Yeah.
If I buy 3, or if I buy 1, or let's say I just wanted 2 slots, I'm paying considerably more.
Yeah. I mean, if you're buying 5, you're pretty much getting the last one for about 60 gems, aren't you? So it does actually kind of work out pretty good to buy the 5-pack.
I'm probably going to get it. Like,
Yeah,
at first, I was just like, nah, just wait till it goes on sale. I see it at this point. I see it as one of those things that's going to be so nice. So I'm probably going to eventually want it for the rest of my, Guild Wars 2 life. It's going to be really, really nice to have those. So I might as well just give them the $30 or whatever it is now and get it done and enjoy it for the rest of my Guild Wars 2 days.
I mean, it is nothing, for those out there who might be thinking that's still a lot of money. It is nothing to sneeze at. You could go buy a game on Steam easily for like $30 or less.
For cheaper. You can get Hawthorns from certain places for cheaper than
if you're gonna buy it.
Oh, don't put it that way. I'm trying to sell myself on it, Corvus.
Well, see,
don't put it that way.
I don't have any
it's not like
convenient stuff, Like I don't have a permanent bank, or I don't have any of the tools or anything. And so for me, I have no interest in it at all. Like, it'd be a cool thing to have. And if it was something massive, like a whole bag slot, maybe, then, it would be cool. But all my new characters get a 1-week bank access thing, automatically, because I got the heroic version. I'm so used to traveling to PvP to quickly jump into the, to get to the trading post or the bank, and then just going straight back to where I was before. Like, it's not a big deal really to me. And so I think if you have those items, like, definitely do it, because like you said, for the rest of your Guild Wars 2 career or whatever, it's going to be amazing. But I personally don't have any need for it. I can see like how it's amazing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money
And you
for
can
something. I
and you
don't
can
know
swap.
really
You know,
what.
people are saying
Yeah.
like you can pop into PvP and pop back out. Sure, I can do that, but the loading screens, and I know some people are like, "Oh, that's so silly," like the loading screens, whatever. But it literally takes me a couple minutes to load every zone,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's
a
just a
convenience
headache.
item.
You're paying
Plain and
$30
simple.
to skip a loading screen.
Yeah, I basically am. You're not
But
wrong.
all
but you know
those
what?
minutes
I'm
add
gonna-
up.
Welcome to capitalism, boys and girls.
it's more than just that though. This means that I don't have to buy tools
Yeah,
anymore
for
for those characters ever again.
Yeah.
I don't have to ever buy salvage kits ever again for extra characters. And I can travel to, if I want to travel to Divinity's Reach or the ship, depending on which one I feel like I want to use, I can do that on any character now. So it's more than just, I don't feel like a loading screen. But I do understand, this item is definitely not going to be for everybody. It's certainly not cheap, but I think there's some value. I still think there's some value there for particular customers.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
If you have those things and it's a convenience you like have been wanting for a while, or something you think would make your experience in the game better, then of course it's worth it because it's a permanent change. It's always going to be worth it. But like I said, for me personally, right now it's not something I'm that interested in. Unless if I get like a permanent bank somehow, or like I get stupidly lucky in a black lion chest or something, then cool. But right now I'm just not that interested.
Yeah.
Or you could sell it for 3,500 gold or whatever.
Yes, yeah, I think I'd rather do that.
You'd rather have the gold.
Rather than spend another, £30 or whatever to use it. Or I'd probably just sell it, buy a legendary.
All right, let's move on to the Winter 2016 update, which is coming on January 26th, just under 2 weeks. And there's a whole blog post on GuildWars2.com that details it's basically a roadmap for the rest of this year, and it gives us in detail what we're going to be getting in 2 weeks, which is the first of their seasonal updates. And they explained how they're going to start doing 4 big updates a year. Winter, summer, winter, spring, summer, fall. And kind of like feature packs, like how feature packs before they brought a lot of new features into the game, as well as like Colin talked about on Guild Chat last week, going like deeper into the game, like giving the current systems overhauls and depth rather than always introducing new stuff and leaving the old stuff how it is. And I love everything that I see here. So we're gonna kind of just go one by one through the 2016 updates, and this is the stuff, again, that's coming on January 26th. So the very first thing, of course, is what we got teased and just kind of blew up the community last Friday, is Corteria gliding.
Yes.
I figured this was coming eventually, but coming in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly
I
sooner
was
than...
shocked.
Certainly sooner than I anticipated it coming, if ever. There was always this question of how are they going to deal with...
that like the maps weren't built for it, that it probably wouldn't happen, that there was restrictions like that, and it would take them a long time to revisit all of that stuff. They said that, but here we are, 2 weeks away.
And they said right in the blog post and on Guild Chat, like, well, we kind of just, we did some, we went through, and we didn't redesign all of the core maps. We did a little bit here and there where it would have like completely broken the game. And this doesn't mean that they're adding updrafts and ley lines and stuff. There's none of that.
As cool as that would be.
It's kind of just like a bonus, really. It's kind of just like
just
gliding is cool. Gliding is
it.
amazing.
It's free advertising for Hearthstone.
Yes,
absolutely.
That is the main thing. Basically, the only place that people who don't have the expansion could even see people gliding is in the guild hall, and not everybody even has a guild hall. So now, when you go to Lion's Arch, Divinity's Reach, or anywhere in the core game and see people gliding, right there is huge advertising for Heart of Thorns. Look what we can do.
If you don't have the expansion, you can't get into a guild hall, can you? You've got to have the expansion to get into a guild hall. Otherwise, you just use the... No, I think you just use the guild initiative building in Lion's Arch for all your relative guild needs.
Oh, I could be wrong. But anyway.
I don't know. Yeah. It seems kind of... I honestly don't know how I feel about it, because
Really?
everyone's. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to save a lot of character deaths out and around the world because everyone comes back from the Maguma jungle and just being kind of like, yeah, I'm going to jump off this and then glide, but you fall to your death. I don't know, because to me the maps were always built in mind to be seen from a particular kind of point of view. Oh, apparently I'm wrong about
Yep, chat's telling you you're wrong.
Yeah,
You need it to activate the expedition, but to enter the hall, it's fine. You can do that.
Oh, cool. But yeah, to me, the maps were always designed to be seen from a particular point of view, and
But we've been seeing it from that point of view for 3 years, and now it's going to give completely new life to every single map in the game.
That's true.
True, but there are parts of the core game that have not aged as well as perhaps they could have. If you look at some of the texture difference between what was in Heart of Thorns and what was in Core Guild Wars 2 launch, there's a very marked difference between that, and I think giving us an extra vantage point is going to start highlighting a few more of those, not shortcomings in the engine exactly, but a few more of those little kind of age lines that are starting to seep through. And I'm a little worried that'll shatter the immersion from me, as well as trying to kind of glide out of a map.
Well, see, they even addressed that right in the blog post. They said, yes, you're going to be able to get places that we never intended you to see. So you might see broken textures. You might be able to glide out of the map where you're not supposed to. But it's going to happen. That's just, they like, it's going to happen. If you're going to, purposefully climb to the very, very tippy top of some map and then glide around and try to find these things, that's what you're expecting to see anyway. So if you don't want your immersion broken, don't do that.
It's gonna be like, I don't know if any of you have ever broken out of a map. You see these huge holes and chasms, outside the borders of it, and I think if you manage to catch some of those things, it's gonna be like, But then that kind of thing happens anyway. I'm sure a lot of people have broken out of maps and have seen that kind of thing before.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's an old game in kind of the grand scheme of the game. Those maps are old. But it's still like the texture stuff I think will be fine for the most part. You'll be looking at it from further away, so if anything it would probably look better than if you were walking around. And the only thing would be the borders of the map, maybe having a few holes here and there. Maybe there'll be some maps where you can get high enough, and you can kind of see where it ends, and it's just like this endless, bland kind of wasteland thing. I still think that's going to be fairly minimal, though. And they're adding things like no-fly zones over certain parts and things like that. So I think for the most part, it's going to be fine. I think, if you look for it, you could probably find some stuff. But then if you're looking for it, you're already aware of breaking out of maps and what it kind of is.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's not going to happen to players accidentally, I don't think. And if it does, I can imagine it's going to get fixed. And jumping puzzles will be fine, as Mughal says. I think they said they were adding no-fly zones at the end of jumping puzzles and things like that. Right. So that's a thing.
Gliding can actually mess you up in jumping puzzles, so I think for a lot of them it's going to be actually a hindrance if you can, like at the beginning of it.
I mean, I can certainly see it being a lot of fun gliding around Central Tyria, and obviously what they demonstrated on Guild Chat the other week, it did look fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kind of to me, it just feels...
the change, Alex. Embrace the change. Embrace the good.
I fear change. Change is the enemy. I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to what the community wanted, and saying that saying that you might find holes in the map and you might accidentally break out of maps. It's kind of like, well, if you're going to implement this, surely you'd want to kind of make sure that you...
I think
they did go through, and a lot of the major holes, the major exploits, that kind of thing, they've gone through and fixed. They just didn't go through every single, inch and make sure that you're never going to see a texture you weren't supposed to see. you know.
Yeah.
And if there's anything game breaking, you know, if people find some kind of exploit, then they'll fix it.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna people will find holes. I mean, for those people who are hardcore map breakers, they find holes all over the place.
Yeah, without gliding.
Without gliding.
Well, yeah,
so it's gonna happen. And for those people who do that, they love that. That's a game to them.
Yes.
All on its own. And it doesn't really hurt the game. You know, for them, they like to see the outside looking in kind of thing. Yeah. I think overall, it's really not gonna hurt people. There won't be any updrafts. There won't be any ley line gliding, which is a big plus.
Another thing to think of is that the people who are going to have access to gliding interior are, for the most part, going to be people who've been playing the game for years anyway, but they've at least played through the personal story and gotten to level cap and gotten to Heart of Thorns and played enough of that to unlock gliding. They've seen enough of the game to know this stuff. They're, you know, a lot of concerns with it. They're, you know, flying in World of Warcraft, you know, means you skip a lot of content or you miss a lot of that exploration. But for the most part, everyone gliding interior has already gone through these maps before. They've gotten the vistas. They've done that stuff. So I can't see very much harm in that being introduced there either, because everyone's been through these zones, you know.
Yeah. Right. The positives
if you can find a
outweigh
quicker
the
way to a vista or something in
it.
Queensdale, then who cares? You know, you've already done that. You've already got to level cap. You've already gotten to Heart of Thorns, and you've already played enough to get that mastery done. So I don't see very many problems with this at all, apart from the people that maybe don't like the gliding or don't. You know, the whole thing where you accidentally deploy your glider because you hold the space bar too long or things like that.
Which is easier now since they made that update. It's the glider is much more responsive now.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I think but that's stuff you get used to anyway. It's not like a huge game-changing problem. It's not a reason for them to not implement this. I think this is a really cool feature for everyone. It's good advertising for the expansion. And it means that we're going to be able to go through all these zones and kind of see it in a different way. And even just the other day, I was in like Snowden Drifts and Loner's Pass and stuff, and I was just imagining it, and it was so cool. Like, I'm really excited. It's just a cool thing for everyone. Everyone wins in this situation, I think.
I'm cautious about it. I think it'll be fun, but I'm erring on the side of caution in my own opinion at this point in time.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. A couple episodes
don't
down
let
the line.
people know I enjoy
GuildGab,
playing video games, Peachy.
All right, let's move on to the next update that's coming on Tuesday, which I did not see coming at all, is the Shatterer revamp.
Dun.
Now, there was a blog post released after we started the show, of course.
Yeah, literally.
So we're not going to go and read that. So this is just, we don't know the details of that. We'll look at that and talk about that during the post show. But right now, let's just talk generally. They gave us a general outline that the Shatterer is being completely redone. It is going to involve gliding in some way. We're going to be able to glide and I think drop bombs and stuff. So
yeah.
Again, didn't see this coming.
Personally, I always thought standing to the right of a giant dragon was enough of a challenge for me.
He doesn't even look at you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to attack this bit of empty ground. But no, it's like people have been. This is going to go completely against what I said about 5 minutes ago about they shouldn't listen to the community. That the community have been asking for this for years, and now we finally have it. It's going to be so cool. Like to me, the Shatterer is one of the best looking encounters in the game. Like the way that dragon looks is just.
It's the poster boy. It's the poster dragon for the game.
It's kind of the center of all our advertising.
It's unbelievably cool. Like I just love the whole look of the branded thing and having the dragon come down. And then I was kind of, and I guess I think we, as time's gone, we're all a little bit disappointed that you could go, oh, let's go and do the Shatterer, and you kind of don't really think about it. Like, you press 1 and then you go and make a cup of tea, then you come back and collect your reward. Oh, come on, like,
don't admit it. You're not supposed to admit it.
I have never done that.
I don't think I have.
I've never gone to make a cup of tea.
Coffee or something. Fair enough.
I'm
looking forward to the revamp. I really love, some of my best experiences, some of my most fondest memories of Guild Wars 2 is like the Triple Trouble Worm and those events where we gather up for hours and hours on end, making attempt after attempt, trying to figure out the boss and trying to figure out the strategy. Not only that, but racing for like the first ones to try and kill it, either for your region or for the game as a whole. And, you know, when Triple Trouble came out, you know, I made a lot of new friends and connections, and even a guild spawned from that entire experience. And I really wouldn't trade like those experiences for almost anything else in the game. So I'm really much looking forward to the Shatterer. I mean, there's a bunch of new mechanics where the regular minions have been replaced with larger minions. There's break bars involved with all of those involved. All new attacks with wider arcs that he has to deal with. There's the cannons apparently have been revamped to actually be more usable, and so that's pretty exciting. And then of course the gliding with the bombs and that whole aspect to it as well. And to top it all off, the achievements this time around are really geared, and I think this is really important. It's really geared towards encouraging you to do, you know, the right things in the fights, and not encourage you to do like Corvus was saying before the show, stand behind his tail because you want an achievement, which doesn't really help anybody.
Right.
You know. So very much looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. What's kind of interesting is looking at the stuff about doing like the dive bombing and that kind of thing. It almost seems like the Patriarch Wyvern in Verdant Brink was almost like a pilot for some of the mechanics for that, because that for me that is one of the funnest fights in Heart of Thorns, going on like bombing runs against a giant wyvern, and pretty awesome. And someone was saying in chat they should have done something to make Tequatl difficult or something with this update. Was it September 2013 when Tequatl was updated? When it first came out, it was
whenever it was.
Whenever it was, it was a tricky little son of a gun, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were world firsts, and people spent hours and hours and hours just sitting in queue for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was a massive thing, and hopefully the Shatterer is, like Inks was saying, is going to be kind of along those lines as.
Tequatl, like you said, was years ago, and since then we have had an entire expansion. We've had a Triple Trouble Worm. We've had raids. Shatterer, I think, is going to be on that level. It's going to be an amazing fight if they've learned anything from everything else they've done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now this is something kind of interesting, and this is something we kind of touched on before we went live as well. That the map that the Shatterer takes place in is geared for, or it's designed for level 40 to 50 characters.
Right.
So, you know, there are potentially going to be people in the map who don't have high level gear, blah, 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 and all the rest of it.
Or gliding.
Or gliding, that's very true.
True.
So it's going to be interesting how they manage to straddle new endgame content with introducing newer players to high level group content as well.
Well, hopefully there's just like Tequatl, there should be so many aspects to this battle. You don't just, okay, everybody go here, and then the Zerg goes here, and then the Zerg goes here. There's going to be people needing to use their gliders to bomb. There's going to be people on the cannons. There's going to be people attacking directly. So even those new players, even if they just run up to the dragon and attack it, they're doing something to help, you know. And then the more experienced players who have been playing for 3 years, you know, they're on the gliders and the bombs and the cannons. So everybody's going to kind of be able to play their part, even if they're a level 50 for the first time in that zone, hopefully.
Yeah, the underlining thing with all of these world bosses is it's a matter of logistics and not personal skill. It can't really be about personal skill when you have 100 people on a map.
Yeah.
The skill kind of flies out the window. There's really only so much any developer can do with those mass world events like that. So it comes down to the logistics of it, or herding cats, as a lot of people likes to say. Making sure they're in the right place, doing particular things to help progress the fight. The other thing is the real difficulty comes in figuring out how to properly do, or most effectively do, whatever the mechanics are in the fight. So as soon as you learn those mechanics and you can herd the cats to do those mechanics properly, you win. It's not going to really make it's not going to make a huge difference on whether you have ascended gear or not, whether it's you have exotic gear, whether you're level 80, etc., etc. So it's not so much about how difficult the boss is as far as personal skill is involved, but it's about getting everybody as a group to do particular mechanics in order to be successful at those fights.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Beneville makes a good point in chat as well, talking about how they changed it up so people healing now get, you know, participation in events and stuff now, so you could even play that kind of thing. It's just a lot more welcoming, I think. People like new players and low-level players and people from Heart of Thorns are all going to be able to contribute, and I think it's going to, like Inks was saying, not really be a part of player skill or like gear, more just working together and focusing on the different types of combat in the event.
What do you think the back piece is going to be? There's a new back piece that you can get from the meta.
Hopefully not wings. Hopefully
not wings.
It's gonna...
What?
It's
What?
not for any not for any kind of wings kind of. I like wings, but I just think there's already the holographic shattered ones. I don't know really how they could make a back piece that wasn't just kind of the same thing as that. Maybe just not holographic, which I think maybe would be a little bit boring. It'd be cooler to get something more crystalline and, I don't know, cooler than just another set of wings. We already have enough, I think.
Certainly the crystal theme will be there.
Yeah.
I hope that it can double as a glider. Although if that was the case, I think they would have announced such a thing, and they haven't, so probably not the case, unfortunately. But I can still kind of hope.
I mean,
that it's somehow.
If they are shattered and like crystalline, they're not quite introducing gliders like that yet. That aren't like couldn't practically in some way be a glider, except the snowflake. Okay, the snowflake is full of holes. You can't glide with that. But
the absolute cynic in me would, you know what the absolute cynic in me would say, don't you guys? It'd just be a reskin of the holographic
the holographics.
Wings. It's the holographic wings with a lightning effect. They just add
I don't think it will be though. I don't think it will be, considering that we got a fairly cool set of wings for when we did Tequatl.
Yes, I still use those on my necromancer.
Yeah, which was the sunless.
It was limited time though. These ones are going to be permanent.
That was that was
easier to get.
That was really weird though, wasn't it? With Tequatl, there was like a boss week thing, wasn't there?
Tequatl was part of an update during season 1 when they were still doing the limited time thing. So you had like those 2 weeks to do enough achievements to get those wings. And if you missed the meta achievement, then you didn't. You can still get the achievements, but you can't get the meta achievement anymore.
Yeah, a mini now.
I kind of miss boss week. I wish boss week was a thing they brought back every year with some kind of new meta reward and included more bosses every time. Like you have now you have Triple Trouble, you have Tequatl, the Karka Queen seems to be involved in there a lot of times for whatever reason.
Heart of Thorns ones as well.
And now Shatterer, and you could even add Heart of Thorns ones into boss week, have a new meta achievement and some kind of new item. I kind of miss boss week.
I mean, you can buy the wings anyway with laurels now, can't you? In the from the season 1.
Not Tequatl wings, no.
Oh,
really?
Oh, really?
I
guess just Shatterer.
The only wings you can get are the normal, boring holographic ones from the trading post.
Not
the shattered.
Not the shattered ones, yeah.
Oh no, I meant the sunless wings. The sunless wings.
Yeah, those are just unavailable now, completely unavailable.
Really?
Which I like. I still like. I like that it's exclusive.
Yeah, I would as well if I had them.
Oh
no, Corvus.
Oh, bless you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh. No, you are absolutely right.
If I could give you mine, I would give you mine, Corvus.
I would.
that would leave a hole in my inventory. I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
Let's segue. Let's jump ahead a little bit here, because Corvus had mentioned that they're adding the participation bonus.
Yes.
They're counting your healing, your condition removal, boons, rezzing people. All of that is now going to count towards your participation for events. I actually didn't realize that it hadn't before, or maybe it just counts more now.
You still need. You've always needed to tag people.
Yes, you do still need to tag something.
A little bit of damage.
You need to do a little bit of damage.
Before you had to put in, it really depended on the event, I think, but you really had to put in a significant amount of damage. So healing and adding boons and reviving your foes didn't really give that much participation credit. If you spent a large part of the event doing that, you weren't getting credit for that event. You needed to do a certain amount of damage. And so now it sounds like you just need to tag it a couple of times, once or twice maybe, and then you can go on your healing spree, your boon spree, whatever the case is, and get properly rewarded for
I mean, the thing is, I think even if you're playing an Ellie medic or a druid, that you're at least going to do some kind of passive damage to something, aren't you? Even if you're just attacking people on auto attacks. So I don't.
It's pretty hard to not do damage.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly going to be a problem. And even if you kind of if you use the equivalent of Firetooth on the water, is it ice thing, whatever it does, and it drops down. Like even if you use that to blast something, it's still going to damage foes inside the area of effect. So you're still going to get the.
So, I think currently, like let's say you play a druid, for example, and you're running around with your staff and you're zapping people. You're probably, a lot of times, if you just do that and you're healing and you're doing whatever supportive abilities that the druid has, a lot of times you're going to end up with copper, maybe silver. It's going to be kind of rare for you to get gold just doing those things. And so I think the big thing is you're going to get a lot more participation credit. Like before, maybe you got minimal credit. Now it sounds like you're going to get full credit for those events playing that kind of style.
Yeah. They don't want to reward just people who do DPS. Since there are so many different play styles now, you know, you've got full healing druids running around more than ever because of raiding. So they don't want to penalize them for doing something other than raiding. So it's awesome. All right. Also on Tuesday coming are some Fractal of the Mists updates, some very nice quality of life updates.
Yay!
No new fractals yet, although new fractals has been confirmed for later this year. We don't know exactly when, but brand new fractals later this year. But for the 26th, we've got some really nice quality of life changes, including a slight revamp to the looking for group tool. They're saying that they're making it a bit easier to find, especially cues for higher scale fractals. They're updating the fractal hub so that players can adjust the fractal scale inside the fractal. Thank goodness. You don't have to, okay, everybody out. Is everybody out?
Got to do the next one.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Way better.
So much better. And then they're changing the achievement UI so that when you actually go into the fractal lobby, you'll actually see the fractal dailies under your daily.
It's good move.
Very awesome. Wonderful changes.
The only other change they need to make is that if you go for your casual, veteran, heroic, or whatever they're called daily, that you can't do the same fractal 3 times. I think we touched on this last week. You've got to do a different fractal each time to get that daily. And that would
be in the future. They're supposed to properly. The problem right now is there's no incentive to do so. So you could force players. You could put a system like you're talking about, Alex, in and force players to say, "Listen, you can't do swamp. It's not going to work. You have to do swamp, molten, whatever." And people will still find there's still loopholes there, right? If you do swamp, molten. Sabbatha, geez. Whatever her name is.
Mytrin.
Jeez, Sabbatha. I've been fighting Sabbatha too much.
No.
I mean, those are still 3 really easy fights. Not as easy as doing swamp, but I think the idea in the future is to make those more difficult ones, for example, Cliffside, which I absolutely hate at higher levels.
Oh, I love it.
I love that fight,
I can't stand Cliffside. God, it's terrible. Anyway, but they're going to make those more. They're going to incentivize those in some way. Probably better rewards, maybe more rewards, and they really do have to, because right now, And those incentives have to be really good, because right now you just are not going to do it. There is, and we are getting new fractals, which I'm super excited about later in the year. But we're still stuck with a precursor back piece for at least 3 more months, maybe longer. And it seems like it's probably still tied to whatever these fractal leaderboards that are going to come in, which I absolutely dislike with a great amount of intent.
Really?
Yeah, I think that.
Well, if you can get to the if the only way you can get the legendary fractal back piece is by getting to the top of the leaderboard or in a set position right height where people can see you, it's to me the whole point of legendaries is that if you put in the time you can get the legendary.
I don't think it's gonna work like that. It might be kind of similar to the PvP thing where it doesn't really matter how far you can get in the leaderboard type thing. But just kind of the amount, like the people who don't get as far just have to do it more times, and it takes them longer to get, kind of thing. I think that's probably kind of how that would work.
That's kind of fun, but how does that? How would you implement that in a fractal situation? Because that's kind of just what we're doing now. That you can
unless it's kind of like maybe there's like a weekly reward at the end of the week or at the end of 2 weeks or something. It'll take your place, and you'll get a reward based on how far you got or something, and then it kind of resets, maybe or. I don't know. I can't imagine it'll be like you have to get to number 1 and then you get the legendary or something. I don't think it'll be like that. That feels, I don't know, I think that would be a bit too harsh.
I mean, I think they are, right now it sounds like it's going to be leaderboard dependent. The reason that we don't have it, we were supposed to have it at launch and we didn't because they decided they didn't like the leaderboard idea. They didn't like the implementation of whatever their leaderboard idea was, so they pulled it, which is a good thing. You don't want to put a bad leaderboard in there or a bad implementation of a leaderboard, so that's good. The problem now is I think this project is taking a lot longer than they anticipated to implement it properly, and I think it sounds like that the legendary back piece, that final step, is still related to, you know, those leaderboards. And if I want competition, if I want to compete against other people, I have PvP for that. I even have World vs. World for that, which doesn't have a legendary back piece, unfortunately, yet. But, I mean, if I want, you know, in a PvE scenario, I don't have to compete against other people to get legendary armor. I don't have to compete in a leaderboard to get a weapon. So why are you forcing me to do it with a back piece?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is, like, if it was like before there was dungeons, right, which were the casual kind of 5-man content, and then there were fractals, which were a bit more, the people involved in that were a bit more elite. They had their like specific gear sets. They took it really seriously. But with ArenaNet pushing fractals to be kind of like the generic 5-man content, I think adding something like a leaderboard, kind of being that dependent on it, would kind of push a lot of casual players away. And if they're trying to make it the kind of go-to 5-man content, it's maybe not the right way to go about it. I'm not sure.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how they implement it, and be interesting for sure.
Indeed. Let's move on to squad markers and lieutenants. The squad system is getting another upgrade. Basically, they're adding the ability to promote lieutenants in the enhanced squad UI. No confirmation, am I correct, that if these lieutenants are going to be able to display their commander tags? That would make sense to me.
I think if they got a kind of a lesser tag, or
maybe not filled in like an outline or something to shake it up.
At least something to kind of denote kind of smaller groups, even if it is, I don't know, your dot's a different color on the minimap or something like that.
Yeah.
It says
it's cool. They're adding markers too and stuff.
Yes,
right?
the markers that you can set, the shield, there's a triangle, and then there's like a X or a peppermint looking thing. Those will be visible in the world. I thought that was Like, what?
That's interesting.
It made me feel sad because we've had people like a Restless who made like that Overwolf app. He put loads of hours into basically making a marker thing for Overwolf, and now it's just getting put in the game. I don't know. I hope he's been credited or something for like the idea because it's such a good idea, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it gets implemented.
I can imagine it'll be super useful in kind of whatever raids come up next and.
We've especially when we first got to Sabbatha, I know our raid team. You really have to be. You have to know your directions. You have to know your north, south, east, west. You have to know your orientation when you're fighting her. And we have the little symbols on the mini map, but people were actually saying, especially the very first night, "Gosh, I wish there was some kind of marker in the world." So they could say, "Go to the star," and we could see the star and run towards it. So this is exactly what we were wanting for that. I don't know if we necessarily need it at this point, but I think it'll definitely help some people for a lot of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes into big play for World vs. World, and even World events for those people doing like maybe even the Shatterer that's coming up, but the Garant or Dragon Stand, things like that. I think it's a good way to direct people in your squads or whatever.
It'll be good. I just like that they continue to they're improving it. They continue to improving it. They're not just letting it sit, say okay, here you go, and then never do anything with it. I also hope that this comes with the stealth update, that if you are the commander of a squad, that you can actually, there's like a checkbox to turn off your commander tag if you don't want it on. I know there's ways around it now, but they're kind of like tricky. I hope there's just like a checkbox. Do not want my commander tag on, because sometimes, like, if I'm running around in the world, just with leveling or a peachy party, I don't need a commander tag on, because then people are like, oh, are they doing part of the event or part of the meta event? Do I need to be over here? I'm like, no, I'm just running around and doing adventures, so I don't really need a commander tag above my head. So
this has just got me thinking. Has anyone seen like the mentor tags in game? In like the last however long.
Yeah. Every day.
Really? I've not seen one
all the time. Too much.
Not as much as when they first came out. So the good news is they have died down a little bit, but I still do see them fairly often.
It's like when they added the different commander tag colors. I remember doing Tequatl after that, and like everyone in the entire map had a different colored commander tag on. It was just I think it's like when it's the hot new thing, and everyone's like more commanders.
Well, remember when we first got when Hot first came out, and we had everybody when they got their Apple tag. You saw Apple tags everywhere.
So I don't know if they could just let you turn on your mentor tag or something in the squad, and you could use that.
I see that.
Kind of tie the command into the mastery.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah. Going over to PvP discussion for a second. New Mist Champion, Tybalt. Left paw. Tybalt is a Mist Champion!
So now if the enemy team uses him, you can kill him.
That's right.
Oh, no!
How you like them apples?
Says he's going to be a defensive. They actually say to our apple-bearing defensive Mist Champion.
It's going to be cool.
Should be.
And it's going to be amazing as well, because they're going to go down the same route as the other ones, and you can get different outfits for them. They added little Christmas outfits for all of the current Mist Champions. So a little festive Tybalt would be quite cool.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Like, Tybalt is, for those of you who don't know, Tybalt Left Paw is your mentor if you join the Order of Whispers at level 30 in the original personal story, and he's a bit of a fan favorite.
Oh, very much.
He's pretty damn cool. And now, like some of the other legendary characters that we've got, like Grim Savard and Terraiosa and Nika. He's now a champion who's available to use in Stronghold, and that's awesome. I'd be interested to see. Cool. I can just see him like throwing apples at everybody, going
apple bombs.
Apple bombs. Yeah.
I still haven't gotten over when I fought Mordremoth, and Mordremoth
Yes.
summoned him, I was just like, no, you did not just do that. It was so cool.
It's funny because over Tybalt was Order of Whispers in general was the first order that I chose when I played through the story for the first time, and I think after a long period of time, I think Siren is actually my favorite of the three.
A lot,
but
yeah.
I like her
She's
attitude. She has a carefree attitude, and yeah, she also reminds me of Siren. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Sylvari character from the books. I forget what her name was. Colleen, right? So she kind of reminded me of her a little bit too, and I think that's why I like her the most.
Yeah,
but
I like her too. She's bubbly.
I'm looking forward to his outfits or whatever. Like all the little Mist champions have different outfits, and I'm curious to see like what his abilities are going to be, because he'll probably use a rifle, and he's an engineer, so.
Is he going to be available if you don't have Heart of Thorns? You unlock him through a PvP reward track, correct?
You probably will, yeah.
You think so?
Wait, yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
think so.
I haven't read anything that said that requires Heart of Thorns.
No,
But
they haven't said
But then
that.
they spoke
They
about
haven't said either way.
gliding. They spoke about gliding in this post, which requires it. I can imagine it probably will.
I think that it will.
I don't know. Are the
Yeah?
other ones locked? Because I know you
Nika
get
is
Turai as by default, but Nika's
Nika and
locked.
Grim Savage, you have to have Heart of Thorns to unlock.
So I can imagine they are locked. Tybalt will be locked. Also, just a quick thing. I never noticed this, but Wooden Potatoes did a video and mentioned it. But in their balance post, they used a screenshot which was taken on an old PvP map that was taken out of the game in 2014, I think. And I don't know if that means anything or if it's just a screenshot they used of someone stomping. But it could mean that map's coming back into rotation for unranked. And it was the one with the underwater and those kind of things.
That was my favorite map.
That was a cool map. That was
Really?
the first map I ever
Yeah, I
played
loved
PvP
it.
on.
Raid on Capricorn is what
That's
it's
the
called.
one, yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
cool
And
if
then
it comes back.
Yeah.
They took it out. They took it out because of the water aspect on the map. And
Yeah.
Players just didn't. I mean, first of all, underwater combat's not exactly balanced, especially in PvP.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Revenants are very good underwater. I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
It'll be interesting. If they do bring it back, it would definitely be in some sort of unranked fashion, or maybe they could bring it back as like a your personal arena
Your
kind of
arena
maps.
type thing? That would be cool.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it is a map that they had that they just kind of took out of the game.
removed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
would much
just
rather
thought it
them-
was interesting that they used that because they will have it's ArenaNet. They should have tons and tons of screenshots of people finishing other characters, right? And it would have
Right.
taken them.
Yeah.
They would have had to scroll a long time to get back to these screenshots if they were just using. So I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe they did this on purpose. I'm not too sure. But maybe it's just a generic screenshot. Nothing screams modern. If we saw someone who was definitely like a dragon hunter or using a new skin, like it would have been a bit more obvious to tell if it was coming. But this is just a generic screenshot, so it might mean nothing. But I thought it was worth talking about for 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're introducing some new guild decorations for world and raid bosses. You'll be able to get tokens when you defeat the bosses, and you can turn in those tokens and upgrade them to get new guild hall decorations. And I think they're going to actually be, at least the upgrades, I think are going to be the trophies that you get from defeating. Like, so when you defeat the Veil Guardian, there's this trophy that shows up in the center with like the Veil Guardian on top, and same with Gorseval, and I assume the same with Zabitha. So I think you'll be able to get those trophies for your guild hall by doing the content.
Yep.
And I hope that this is an indication that they're starting to look at changes to guild decorations, introducing more guild decorations rather than just through the scribing system, or introducing one that we can get from each festival. So hopefully that, by playing the content of the game,
That's how you get the decorations.
We can earn
Rather
some
than
decorations.
playing the trading post.
Well,
These sound a lot easier to get too, even if it takes hundreds and hundreds of tokens. Definitely still more achievable for guilds than.
Let's not hope it's hundreds of tokens. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
you know what I mean. Well, I don't know.
no,
If you guild spawn to Quattle or something, and you've got like 150 people
That's
there,
Yeah.
that could be fairly easy for guilds to do.
Well,
That's true.
In what was it, Lord of the Rings Online, way back when, I did a few kind of raids back in that, and one of the things that they had was that you had your guild halls and your personal housing, and decorations that you could use to kind of spruce up your place was that they were random drops from the bosses. So I think I'm for this one time I'm going to vouch for a little bit of RNG in there.
No,
because I
this feel like
I kind of
even if
enjoyed
it's
it in past
relatively
experience.
easy, you're still earning it. I think it's better than RNG because
Well-
you could just be there and you've I don't know joined the guild for a day
I'm not-
and it's just
I'm not
get that
convinced
drop.
with the token thing. Maybe if you completed a meta achievement for that particular boss or something, or that you, I don't know. I think that the token thing is just about played out with Heart of Thorns now because you need it for literally everything in the expansion.
It'll be
and
another thing in the wallet or something, you know.
Yeah,
Which is
I-
kind of, I get that.
I just think perhaps maybe a little bit of a different direction. So maybe even if it is a high drop rate for RNG or a guaranteed drop or a meta achievement kind of thing.
But, I don't know.
I think it'll be guaranteed. It also sounds like there might be some other decorations that come along with the trophies because it sounds like the trophy is the ultimate upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So there'll be like lesser I don't know what other decorations there could be for those world bosses and the raid bosses, but it sounds like there's lesser
Could be
decorations that you buy with the tokens.
I don't know, like
eventually working up to the big trophy.
Squall has those kind of finger wall things that he spawns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shatterer
cool.
has the crystals. Maybe those could kind of be little extra bonus decorations you could get or something.
The worms have worms.
Worms. Yeah.
Oh, what about the egg sacs?
Oh yeah,
Egg
yeah.
sacs,
that's
yeah.
cool.
Egg
That's cool.
sacs.
Veil Guardian, you could have like the pillars at the sides, like little
That'd be
pillars,
cool.
different
That would be pretty
colors. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here. I'm really hoping
Yeah.
that they're starting to take this direction by getting guild hall decorations as a prize for actually playing content, not just for leveling up your scribing.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
that way
Yeah.
everybody can work together to get decorations for the guild hall.
I honestly think the token system's the best way to do it. I think it'd be hard for
I'm
them
fine,
to implement
yeah, I'm fine
a kind
with
of
the token
meta
system.
achievement thing.
Sure.
And I don't know,
It-
maybe a guaranteed drop from a guild spawn or something.
Yeah, it works. You're right. The token system does work, but I think we have enough tokens in Heart of Thorns.
Yeah,
for
the
now.
wallet's
There's
gonna be
a lot.
We've
yeah.
got magnetite. We've
Well,
got
if they just go
beryllium,
into the
we've got-
wallet, who cares? If they take up an inventory slot,
true
that's a
enough.
much bigger deal.
Yeah, I can't imagine it'll do that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of tokens though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different currencies.
All right, we're actually almost at an hour, but we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
more controls is one of them. Basically adding some new optional key binding for action camera, snap ground targeting, and auto targeting so that they are push to toggle.
Right.
So so nice, especially for, I know we've had this problem with people in raids that they have things like snap to target on, and we had to tell them to turn it off, and they have to go into the menu and set their keybinds, turn it off, find where it is. So now you can just set that to, you push one button and it's off.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's pretty
nice.
cool.
So nice.
What-
Just quality of life, a lot of quality of life features.
It's just something they started with the action camera, wasn't it? That you can
Yes.
keybind that to something, and like it's so useful just dropping in and out of action camera when you need to. It's great,
time.
fantastic.
Yeah, that push to toggle is really nice. Also, and this shocked me, and I am more excited than I should be about this, a new checkbox will be added to always show the names of objects you can interact with in the world, similar to the existing checkboxes for players, NPC, and enemy names.
Awesome.
I am so excited about this, like not having to
that's-
hold control to find my bandit chests and to find my mining nodes. Like, I am so excited about this.
That's a really good move. I like that. It's like
But I'm
Nice
also a
quality
player
change.
who usually has all those other check boxes. Like, some people don't like the screen clutter. They don't like they want to like be able to turn party names off. Like, they don't
Right.
want to see the names. They don't
Yeah.
want to see that text clutter.
So
I'm
I-
someone who
I have
I don't know
nothing
why
on-
I just like that text clutter. I like seeing all of the objects in the world easily indicated by text. I like seeing there's 6 enemies over there by seeing the text. Now, maybe that's a little meta because, you know, I'm not in the environment. It does, you know, take you out of the world a little bit as far as immersion, but that's just how I like to play. So the fact that I don't have to hold down control to see those interactable objects is just, that's awesome to me. I'm so excited.
I don't use a lot of those checkboxes. I think just enemy is the only one I have checkbox so I can see the enemies easily, but I'll definitely be using this one. I'm running around holding down control, which is my push to talk button as well.
Same.
So I'm in Discord or wherever, and it's like that's always active, and it's like I don't know. I have those noises turned off, so I don't hear people keying in, but I know some people do. So it's like, what did you just say? I didn't say anything. I'm just trying to find whatever, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Something that has kind of come out of nowhere, the Eldvin Monastery Brew of the Month Club.
Such a strange thing.
Why? Is this just a gold sink?
Happy about
Basically
it.
what this is in Queensdale there is this Eldvin Monastery, and you can join a Brew of the Month club, and once a month you go into a major city, and you'll receive a mail that has some beer in it. Has the Brew of the Month.
Should have totally been cheese or fruit, but
ooh, yes. And basically, it says after collecting all 12 brews, club members will receive a title, a brewer's backpack skin, and a guild decoration in recognition of their devotion to the craft.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. What is the reason for this? Do you guys think this is just a gold sink?
It doesn't sound like a gold sink the way that they've done it. It just sounds like you turn up, you get the beer, and it's just something that you have to kind of come back to every month.
How do you join the club? Maybe
there's got to be some kind of...
They don't tell us the cost. They don't tell us anything like that. Unless, so that's going to be very telling, is what the cost is.
They could just be putting this in to make the world a bit more rich. You know, it's a tiny little bonus, place in Queensdale.
So. If you invest in something like this in the game, you're going to want to come back every month to get your item.
There you go.
So there's some people who daily login rewards don't entice them. They don't care. They know that they're not going to log in every day, so that's out. They're not going to log in and do their dailies, so that's out. But if you get this monthly thing, if they've put the investment in, they're at least going to say, okay, let's log in once a month and get my brew.
I think this is
a long-term thing.
Yeah. I think this is really neat, and it's like a cool little thing. It goes quite far in terms of world building and stuff. But I know the title's just going to be like, something brewer or something.
Brewmeister.
And then the backpack skin is going to basically look like one of the kind of crafting profession backpacks, probably.
Little keg on your back or something.
Yeah.
The decoration might be cool, but it might not.
A beer fountain.
That's the main incentive. It's cool. I'm gonna go for it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the entry to
mega. But then it's not a skill-based
thing is probably minimal. I can't imagine it's too big. It's basically a collection, right?
Yeah.
And even if you miss a month, my guess would be that when you log in next month, you'll get the previous month's brew. So if you didn't log in 12 months straight, and it might take you 13 months because you missed a month or something. So I think it's going to be a collection. I kind of wish the items weren't just part of a collection. Like, if they actually do something, even if it's like a food buff that lasts 24 hours or something. I don't know. I kind of hope they do something, but I have this suspicion that it's just going to be an item collection that you get once a month. If you log in for 12 months, you go to a city and get this, then you don't even have to do anything. You just have to enter the city, and it sends you a mail, sends you a package. So, and then you get a title, you get, a back piece, you get something for your guild hall. If it's cool looking, people will go after it and do it. If it's not,
what if they don't show us what the decoration or the back piece looks like until the very end?
That'd be cool.
12-month tease.
Yeah, 12-month investment for you don't know what you're going to get.
I think you'll be able to see it in the collection tab though. It'll be a collection
icon at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be able to kind of see what it looks like. So.
The decoration probably harder to preview, but
a recipe to craft the month's brew. That's interesting.
Cool.
A recipe.
And then if you could get a recipe that you could craft seasonal brews, you could actually craft your way to Festive and Minor.
Oh my god!
Maybe it is going to be some kind of buff then if there's a recipe for it, right? Because most of the beer and the alcohol you get in the game is literally just a double-click trophy. You know, it doesn't really do anything.
Right.
But if there is some kind of recipe to it, then maybe it will do something a bit more than just be a thing.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you can miss all of them, and so this way, you know, people can get the recipe and make it, and then sell it on the trading post for the people who have missed the ales for that month or something. I don't know.
It's interesting. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. We'll have to see how it plays out. Like I said, if anything, just something to add spice to the world.
Yeah.
Literally. Anyway, all right. There's a couple World versus World updates. We're not going to go into any detail here, really, unless you guys have any. Unless you really wanted to comment on these.
The only thing that I thought was kind of interesting was that now that killing, you can only one person can res off a dead bad guy.
Rally, big time.
Yeah.
Big change.
That's a big change.
Because the guild that I was in before, Thorin and Company, we kind of got our informal name on Gandara was the Guild of Gandara Rally Bots, because we were notoriously bad at World v World. So every time we used to go onto a map, we all just died, and all of the bad guys rezzed off of us. And but still, gold 2014, baby. Yeah.
I think this is just. I think this is some groundwork for the big World vs. World update that's supposed to come at some point in 2016.
Yeah.
I like all the changes. I like the fact that instead of 5-person rally, it's a 1-person rally. For those people who are roamers or want to contribute in a sense of killing people, you're not going to add one. You're going to add 1 point to the total for your world. So and they're making like Dolyak deliveries a lot more important, because right now, a lot of those upgrades and stuff are based on a timer and not necessarily how many Dolyaks make it or don't make it into the places. So all those things seem positive to me. Hopefully it adds a little bit, more incentive for people to play. I know World vs. World's kind of a mess, but, they are working on a big update. Just have to hope that hopefully sooner than later, but you don't want to rush that as well.
It seems like it's going to be a while, but I can understand why. It seemed if they were working on this before Heart Thorns and they wanted to launch Heart Thorns with, a big change, and it just wasn't ready yet. So I think it's going to be pretty substantial when it does happen.
Colin even said on Guild Chat, he said this scope of this World versus World overhaul is much bigger than they expected. It's taking a lot more time than they expected. So I think when it finally does launch, it's I just hope it's worth that time for the sake of the World versus World players. I feel so bad for them.
It has to be.
If it bombs, it's gonna destroy the game mode. Like the community in World v World is just not very happy right now, and if they wait this long and the update just doesn't deliver, it's gonna be a pretty big deal.
Which is a shame, because I think we said this last week, and I'm not just saying this because Moogle Tart's in chat right now, but it is a beautiful map.
The New Zealand's are amazing.
The Desert Borderlands is just absolutely incredible, and with just a few little tweaks to the systems that World v World uses, I think it's kind of like that thing. When something, it's like when you look at a Christmas tree and you've put most of the decorations on, but there's something not quite right about it, and then eventually you figure out it's because you've not put the star on the top. It's like that. It's just that tiny little thing. Well, not tiny, but it's just that. Sorry,
that massive thing.
Massive. Well, the thing is, the star is quite a big thing on a Christmas tree, isn't it? You can't really have a topless Christmas tree or a topless Winter's Day tree. But once that kind of don't you shake your head at me, Inks. I know exactly what I'm talking about. But
I think the problem is the World vs. World community wants one particular thing, and the map doesn't really cater to what they were looking for, unfortunately. That doesn't mean it can't be fixed, it can't be saved, think that's exactly what ArenaNet's doing right now, and that's why they've been putting in. They've known for a long time, I think, that World vs. World needs a major overhaul to refresh it, to bring it back into where it needs to be, and that's why they've been working on it for like a year now. Colin said, and they're going to continue to work on it. There's a lot of work left to do, apparently. So,
as well, like the kind of the wants and the needs of the players in World vs. World kind of change depending on what kind of tier they are as well. You know, the smaller places probably want a smaller map, and the smaller servers, I mean, probably want a smaller map, so it's a bit more close. They're not having to be so spread out and stuff like that, so their battles can feel a lot bigger. But then people at the top, you know, I think the system of it being server-based is quite limiting, and it means they're kind of they have to balance the wants and needs of people at the very top and the people at the very bottom as well. But it's how do you fix that? You know, you can't have mega server World v World that completely ruins the idea behind the game mode. So there's a lot for them to think about, and I trust the guys are working very hard on how they're gonna.
Has that World v World guild stuff come in yet? You know, there was an article a few months back about how there was there was going to be like you now had to join particular World v World guilds, and that it was reducing the population. Like, has that actually come in yet, or is that never implemented, or? Because I honestly can't remember.
Never. It's not there.
Or have I just made that up? You're all kind of.
You do make things up.
I know
all the time.
You're all kind of.
No. Was it not? Weirdly. It was like a.
I honestly don't know.
Was it not like a leak or something that someone posted? I'm not too sure if it wasn't. I don't know.
Was it?
There was a big leak. But I don't know how.
Chat is saying you made that up.
Yeah,
okay.
Must have been that.
I honestly don't know. It doesn't sound familiar, but without a World vs. World season and without this new patch, World vs. World doesn't have the same interest that it used to have for me.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing that's coming on January 26th is the Major Balance update. Woo! I don't even know where to begin. They haven't given us any details, but they gave us a very broad overview of like what their aim is for each class. And I think most of them pretty much, even though most of them make sense, even though some of them we might be unhappy about. So basically for me, of course, Guardian, Dragon Hunter.
You deserve it.
Hey,
you deserve it.
Hey,
so
yes, it's okay. We're OP. We're OP right
insane.
now, and that's okay. We've been OP for quite a while, so I'm okay with them toning down our traps. It's okay. I'm not happy about it, but it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair.
I think as far as I could tell, the short version was thieves are getting a boost to their auto attacks. Everyone else is getting nerfed except warrior.
Necro seems to be in an okay
That's
place.
About it. That's what cynically said.
We'll know more Friday. I'm really kind of holding judgment.
The summaries weren't really, the kind of the paragraphs they
very
posted,
broad,
very vague and not very. Thief definitely needs some help.
Yeah.
Very much needs help. Guardian, I think, needs a little tuning down.
They did say just a little. They're gonna
just a little.
I mean, down just a little bit.
It's super fun walking onto a node in PvP and then just boom, you're dead. It's traps. I must say, it's been fun to fight them. I have to think a bit more than usual, but it's a bit.
Here's my problem with this whole thing is: are we talking about structured PvP or are we talking about PvE, or are we talking about something else?
Right.
I really think
the change is going to be more felt in PvP.
I think that's where it's more
fear.
Needed. I feel like it's more needed in PvP than PvE. It kind of sucks that they're balanced the same way. You know, a lot of people have been asking for separate balance between PvP and PvE, and while it kind of makes more sense to do that, it also adds a lot of complications, I think, as well. So, I don't know.
Probably a very unpopular opinion, and I don't think that ArenaNet is ready to do this. I don't think they're going to do it anytime soon, but I think the balance between structured PvP and PvE needs to be separated, because you say nerf Dragon Hunter traps because in PvP they're crazy good. Is that true for raids? Is Dragon Hunter crazy good in raids?
They allow the Dragon Hunter to be viable in raids, basically.
Viable,
yeah.
But probably not my first choice if I'm building a raid team.
No.
Yeah.
No, but they allow us to keep up, so that is, that's the only part that scares me about the
Yeah. Fair
There's
enough.
particular classes in raids that are extremely good and extremely strong, and those abilities and skills don't necessarily always translate to what is good, strong, and overpowered in structured PvP. And so when they make balance changes, mostly based on structured PvP, which is the way I believe it's done, in my opinion, which may not be always correct, I think it unintentionally sometimes damages. Now we have the raid environment. Before, it was kind of less important, but I think with the raid environment, it becomes a lot more difficult, a lot more worrisome when some of these changes are made. So we shall see. I'm very excited for Friday. Carl's supposed to be on the Friday show Guild Chat, and so yeah, it's going to be a big day. It's going to be pretty exciting.
I'm looking forward to the changes. Like personally, Rangers are getting a little bit of a tweak to shouts, which makes them a bit more viable, which I think could be pretty interesting. Mesmers are having their alacrity tweaked, aren't they?
Well, probably nerfed.
Tweaked.
Yeah.
But considering that the expansion's been out 3 months or whatever it is, it's only natural that these kind of balances continue to take place. And I think Inks is right. Like Guild Wars 1, we're beginning where we need that separation between PvE and PvP skills. Especially now we've got raids. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting guild chat tomorrow.
Yes, it will. All right, let's move on and really quickly touch on early 2016. They let us know the big events that are coming. These are before the end of March. So before the end of March in the next couple months, the Lunar New Year event, which actually is also coming. I don't know why they didn't just lump this in with the first part. But the Lunar New Year event is also coming in 2 weeks on the 26th. It is the Year of the Monkey. So hopefully we'll have cute little monkey backpacks and monkey minis and
monkeys everywhere.
Monkey themed decorations.
Monkey mini pets made, I hope. I still want a monkey pet for my ranger. I'm just saying. I know it's not coming with the Lunar New Year, but I can use a monkey.
Like a full pet, not a mini pet.
I want a full monkey who could ride my tiger into battle. Just saying. It could be a thing in the future.
Battle monkey.
And we're getting Dragon Ball back as well, which Peachy, you're kind of fond of, aren't you?
I love Dragon Ball.
No.
Who was it that loved Dragon Ball?
I'm going to buy all my envelopes. I'm going to buy the maximum number of envelopes today. Let them sit there till the very end. That's my plan for Lunar New Year.
I enjoyed Dragon Ball last time so much. I don't even know why. It was mindless and fun, and it was kind of the arcadey arena style, like just straight up fun. It was really good.
What about how did you buy envelopes last year? Was it with money?
Yeah,
you could buy it's just flat out cash. You could buy a limited number of them every day from a merchant. It was kind of like the Winter's Day gifts from the Winter's Day vendor this year, where you could buy a limited number a day.
Right.
And so it was like 1 for 1 gold, 10 for 10
dailies,
golds, or whatever. It was a daily purchase.
The question then is, do you think they're going to change it to karma instead of like silver and stuff this year because of Winter's Day?
No, I don't know.
Give more use to that karma?
I don't know.
Which I'm now out of because of Winter's Day.
I know. I feel like I earned so much karma during Winter's Day, but then I just spent it all on just flat out buying Winter's Day gifts. So
I still have like 100 and something of those orphan gifts that I just didn't get around
too many.
handing out. I bought them all before when I bought all of the skins that I knew I was gonna, because I knew they were gonna be needed for something,
Right.
And then I had like 250 of them or something, and it just
Thousands of socks I gave away.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's still going to be gold because the Lunar New Year is about gold. Like you have the lucky, that lucky golden pig was in the gem store, so that might come back, or maybe it'll be another animal. But I think it's kind of representative of like a piggy bank.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's all about making gold. Like gold comes out of it. Someone in chat said a gold sink. Actually, this is a great way to make gold. I made bank last year, the Lunar New Year, buying those envelopes. It is a little bit of a gamble because you can
a little bit,
not as much. I ecto gambled on stream yesterday and made money. I was very happy. I made a little bit. I mean, not a lot, but these envelopes are a way, and it's all about magic find too. So opening the envelopes are affected by magic find. So I really like this event because it's kind of unique. It's like I don't know, it's fun. There's not a ton to do. It's not like Winter's Day where you have tons of activities. I'm wondering if there's going to be a new back piece, because last year there was the Ram back piece with the lanterns, and there was like the normal version, and then you could upgrade it to the bigger version, or you could get lucky and get them out of. It's all about luck and magic and find.
I think it's cool. I think we'll see this year, but it's definitely starting to have its kind of own identity as a proper festival in the game now. And I don't know, like I actually got excited for it. Last year I was kind of like, it's okay. I had fun with Dragon Ball, and it was, but now we're coming back, for with it appearing again, and I'm actually getting kind of excited for it. It's something to look forward to, and if it becomes kind of a staple. No, it's going to be pretty cool. Something extra to look forward to after Winter's Day every year. So it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. And I just hope I get lucky this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is another seasonal kind of event. So are we going to see another shoulder skin? Are we going to see an upgradable mini?
Right.
These are things that are starting to take place in these like holiday events, I guess. So are we going to see some of that stuff come into play here again? I mean, we just were taxed pretty hard on the 10,000 plus drinks if you were able to complete it.
Yeah.
Are they going to hit us with another like 10,000 envelopes?
Oh God!
You have to lick 10,000 envelopes.
Not so. Oh, they can't.
I don't think it'd be that bad.
I think it's going to be very similar to last year.
Yeah.
Quite minimal, but
just
still
instead of rams, it'll be monkeys.
It's fine. It's an extra skin.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's great. I loved it.
1 million.
1 million envelopes.
Please, no.
No, please.
Get back in the box, Terza.
You're fired.
You're fired, Alex.
Again,
Just get out, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Valentine's Day coming up. Ooh, please, something fancy and pink and hearty.
It's just the Peachy Festival, really.
Yeah.
Peachy Fest.
Yes.
It's the one time a year Peachy spends so much on the gem store. They'll add new love heart weapons and maybe an outfit.
Yes, please, new lovey weapons. I don't have them all, but I have more than any other set.
We do need a Skrit dressed as Cupid with wings, I think.
Oh,
yes,
dude.
there you go.
Yeah.
Where's that mini at? That has to be a thing. I mean,
they could add like a Cupid wing
I'm a
backpack
sucker.
and glider skin.
Oh, what is wrong with you all?
A hard glider skin and Trails hearts. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Dude, add
I
all
don't
these
need
things
to
to
be
the gem
fired.
store.
I quit. No.
Yeah.
Peachy will fund the entire next expansion if you add all this.
There you go. A glider that rains hearts. Make it happen.
Yes.
People will
Instant buy.
it.
Instant buy.
No, because if this turns out to be the new legendary longbow, and I want this for
Quag
my
and Cupid.
and I want this for my ranger, and all these hearts get no.
Well, I don't think that'll be your new legendary weapon. That's a whole separate topic, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to new legendaries.
They didn't mention anything about new legendaries, but we know they're coming. That Guild Chat, Colin talked about them on Guild Chat.
Oh, they'd seen them.
That he had seen the new legendaries and they were awesome. But
hopefully Dagger's next.
Nothing about
Hopefully it's
when they're
blue
coming
and
out.
icy, and then I'll be happy, man. Yes, please.
Also coming before the end of March is the new Raid Wing Salvation Pass.
At some point. They don't have a tentative date yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no date, but that this was under the before the end of March.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm guessing sometime in March? You think in March, end of February? What do you...
I guess. Yeah,
As long as it's after I've defeated Sabathot and then had a couple weeks to, like, get my rewards all in 1 or 2 nights, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. I love raiding. Love it.
I wish I had a raid team. I wish I had friends to raid with.
Corvus, you've got 200
I
people watching who will raid with
I
you.
wish I had friends. I wish I
I'll
had
raid
friends.
with you, buds. I'll raid
I
with
wish
you,
I had
buds.
friends.
Yeah,
Guys,
Alex
start a
willing
group.
to raid.
Anyone but
raid
Alex.
What?
He doesn't want your ranger.
Wow.
I'm joking. We definitely
I'd
need to do this. I need to actually play this raid properly.
I've still not beaten the Veil Guardian.
Me neither. So
Should we 2-man it?
yeah, they did easy.
If those scrubs and King can 5-man it, we can 2-man it, mate.
Yeah, easy.
Also coming before the end of March, the PvP League launch. There's another blog post about specific changes that came out last week before, or something like that.
Yeah.
And let's see, the Season 1 finals and the relegation tournament.
$200,000.
$200,000
A lot of money.
Cool.
of our gem store spendings.
Do you know what? I'd love it if it was $200,000 worth of gems.
Esports.
PvE sports.
But yeah, I'm.
I think they want actual cash.
Yeah, it's real cash.
It's
Cash dollar.
All right. The last thing in the blog post was looking longer term. Later on in the year. So this has been confirmed for this year. Living World Season 3.
Season 3 hype.
Confirmed for this year. December
Shake my head.
31st.
December 31st.
Wait.
11:59 p.m.
Why are you shaking your head, Inks? Why are you shaking your head?
I really expected it sooner.
This
I really
first
did.
quarter.
I don't.
That's
We
why
got
I
too
did
much
it
going
before.
on, dude. I can't handle it sooner.
No,
handle it sooner.
I really
wanna-
did believe we were
Don't get
going
me
to
wrong,
get
I
it,
want it,
like the end of February-ish.
That's why I thought it
Maybe
was
maybe with like the new
Please
raid or
no.
something is when I thought it was going to come.
Mm.
And now we know not until April or later.
Yeah.
That then throws into question how long is season 3 going to be? How long is there going to be a break? How long is the break going to be?
Colin did say on Guild Chat that their 2-week cadence was insane. They said
Yeah.
that
Sure.
was insanity. So I do
Which
not
makes me
expect a
even more
2-week
unhappy.
cadence.
We're gonna have to wait like 8
I could see
episodes.
I could see a month cadence.
well, the thing
What's-
is, it's like season
If
2
you-
slipped anyway, didn't it? Like,
Well, they had a break in the middle, but
There
apart
was a
from that, it
break.
was consistent.
It was
No,
consistent.
I'm pretty sure a couple of them slipped by a few days at least.
No.
I can't
don't
remember.
think so.
No.
I think it was.
Mm-mm.
They had 2 breaks was what it was, so it felt
Yeah.
like it was a bit more protracted.
Yeah.
But when they were on point, when they were releasing content, it was every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
My fear is if it's only once per month, are you going
Then
to give
it's
us
gonna
more than one
8 months.
episode in a month?
Yeah, that'll
because
be
those
like-
episodes can be kind of short sometimes.
That would be like over the space of 8 months, which would lead us up to December. And if they have like a month break, then it'd probably work out like season 2 did, where the finales in the new year, which would work okay, I guess. But a month like that, I know we're spoiled, but Jesus, we're gonna have to wait like 7-8 months from Heart of Thorns until season 3 starts, and then a month in between each episode.
But
If the episodes are the same length as the season 2 ones, that's gonna feel a bit.
but
I mean,
Corvus,
they might be adding new zones with it too. So
right? Would you
That's
rather
one thing.
have what if say it's 8 episodes every 2 weeks? That's what 4 months. Would
Yeah.
you rather have, boom, 4 months, we're done with season 3, and then have to wait almost a year for the expansion? Or would you rather have season 3 be spread out and paced every month, so that the finale is in the new year, and then maybe, later on that year have the next expansion.
I get what you're saying.
I
But
would
honestly,
rather have it more spaced out, personally.
I think I would rather have it on. I want to get through the story. I want to learn about stuff, and so a lot of me just wants to. I'd rather if they could release it all on the same day, and I just played through the whole thing. I would choose that because, I want that constant stream.
Yeah.
I'm greedy as heck. So, I don't know. I just want to learn, and I don't want to have to wait too long. I understand why they would do that totally. And they were saying during season 2, like the episode where you go and you see Keith's memories, that they weren't sure the pacing, like what there was going to go in the mid-season finale. Like that episode, I remember us all feeling like it kind of wasn't enough. And so if they're doing it every 2 weeks, they kind of it's hard for them to decide what goes in this episode, what gets put for the next one, and it can make them feel a lot worse. If they had that time to properly perfect each episode, then it would be better for everyone. I understand completely. I don't know, I'm already feeling that kind of hunger for more story this soon after Heart of Thorns, and I can't be the only one, I guess. But obviously, we're gonna have to wait, and a month would be fine as long as they're kind of extended. As long as we're getting new areas potentially, like we did in season 2, it'll work out. It'll work out fine.
I just hope that in a perfect world, I'd like the story to be wrapped up by the end of the year, by November. I don't want it running into December because then you get into Winter's Day.
Yeah.
Employees are going on
Season
vacation.
1 and
it's
season
just
2,
a mess.
we had to wait for the finale till January.
I don't want to wait to the new year for the finale. It leaves you hanging too much. That's just in a perfect world. I don't know that that's going to happen. Yeah. We also know that this year is more about polish than about tons of content.
Yeah.
And we know that they've started, or they're just getting started, work on the next expansion. Yeah. Which, I mean, let's face it, we're not really expecting that to the end of 2017 or sometime in 2017 at the very earliest, right?
Very earliest.
Absolutely.
I mean, I kind of expect it sometime 2017, but I also want to see next time they do an expansion, I want to see some content roll out in that meantime. Last year we didn't get a living story.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
We didn't have a lot of content updates. So
I think if we have a polish year this year,
right,
we're gonna get season 3, and it might be spaced out. And polish is great. In season 3, it'll be fine. But if I don't know, say next year is kind of a bit more. Maybe they announce at the end of season 3 a new expansion. We have to wait another year. Like, I don't know. We already had kind of a fairly empty year this year, up in 2015. Sorry, up until Heart of Thorns, and to kind of put us through such a spaced out kind of empty year with nothing really but a handful of festivals and features and stuff are fine. Mechanic stuff, feature packs are fine. But for a lot of people, and kind of me included, Heart of Thorns, the story there just wasn't enough. And and I don't want them to get into a position where we're waiting till June, July until season 3 potentially, and then that we have a month or 2 of that, and then a break, and then I don't know. And obviously it's kind of logistics, right? They have to develop these things. They have to do cutscenes, voice acting. It takes a lot of time, and you can't expect it to just be consistent and regular as hell for a whole year, especially when they're focusing on a new expansion and stuff already too. But at the same time, I think because Heart of Thorns kind of didn't deliver as much as I'd hoped, I feel like, and myself, I'm probably being a bit more demanding now. And so even, the wait until April, and that's at the very earliest, that already feels a bit too long, and I'm already slightly bitter about it. So
right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dick.
You take the Frost Fang, you pull it out. Okay, sit it on the shelf.
I mean, it's kind of a feather in their cap, right? We want to know more about the story. We want to be fed more of this story. We want to know more. And I think that if you've been playing since Heart of Thorns released, there's still plenty to do in the game, but at this point, I would say a good deal of players are probably repeating that content. It's not like there's a ton of new stuff that you probably haven't seen yet. Maybe for some players there is, because it depends how much playtime you have. But
yeah, for sure.
I think the players that I interact with on a regular basis have all seen that content and are now repeating it. So They want new content. They want new things to do. And the world needs polish. There's no doubt in my mind that particular things need polish, and I can't wait to see what happens there. And we are getting a Lunar Festival, and we are getting a Shatterer remake as soon as January 26th. That's huge. That's a lot of stuff.
It's huge.
That's massive, yeah.
But, you know, Living World Season 3, Raid Wing 2, we don't have exact dates just yet. Maybe April. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like I always have something to do in the game. I'm not wanting for content.
Absolutely.
I'm not wanting for things to do. I am wanting for story, yes. I think I just feel like I want it to be ready. I would rather the story... And the Season 2 was very rich. It was very rich with story. It was very, very good. And so even though I think the general consensus is that the expansion story fell flat... Hopefully that I just want them to have enough time for Season 3 to be as rich as Season 2 was. I would rather it not be rushed.
I would take a few months wait to know that it was going to be what I wanted from it. Obviously, that's the right thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just I get impatient. I guess. And after Heart of Thorns, I'm even more impatient.
Veterans of the game were kind of used to the 2-week cadence and stuff, and I realized
we've been spoiled.
That was crazy to begin with, right? What game is doing 2-week updates on that magnitude or delivering story like that? It was kind of crazy to begin with, but you've been fed it, and so now you're used to getting it. And when they say, "Listen, guys, we're all kind of overstressed here by doing 2-week cadences, and it's kind of crazy, and we have no actual real lives to do anything of our own." But the players are like, "I don't care. I want my story."
Yeah. This is why it would be so cool to have more kind of extended universe stuff, more novels, you know, like stuff on the side that we can sink our teeth into that isn't, you know, going to take the focus away from things. I don't know. I'd love for more books, to be honest, to read.
Yeah, we love it. We want more. I mean,
just give us
the lore. Like it's like my favorite thing about the franchise is just the lore and the story. You know, like that's I don't know.
Yeah. That's why we're being whiny and patient, is because we love it so much and we want more.
That's why we're behaving like children, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap up this show there. We're going to go a little bit more into detail about some stuff in the post-show. So if you're watching live on Twitch, please stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. We've got more show for you. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please scroll down into the description and click on all the links for more Guild Wars 2 content from all of us. And make sure to subscribe. And if you're watching here on Twitch, please make sure to hit that follow button. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time every single week here on Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys. Bye.